first time I went hunting, it was with my dad. It was dark, cold, and I was dizzy from altitude sickness. I laid eyes on the very first wild sheep 17 years ago. My little body couldn't make the hike. We went home early that day. But since then, hunting has become a way of life for me. I went away for college and work, and always thought I could come home and the sheep would be on the mountain. I never thought they would all disappear one day. I never thought this could be my last story of wild sheep on Mauna Kea. The sheep we hunt were introduced in the late 1700s by European explorers, primarily as food. The king at the time placed a kapu that strictly prohibited the taking of sheep, and over the years and through some ranching, the sheep ultimately made their way up to Mauna Kea. In the mid-19th century, the kapu was lifted, and the hunting of sheep may have taken place as early as the late 1800s. Between 1962 and 1966, mouflon was introduced into the herd, and the sheep that we hunt today are largely a hybrid between feral sheep and mouflon. Due to the large number of cattle, goats, and sheep that roamed the mountain unchecked, the native forest was heavily browsed. Even into the 70s, while there were tens of thousands of sheep all over the mountain, the department still limited the take of sheep by hunters. Early researchers discovered rare species throughout the mountain and primarily correlated their disappearance to the heavy browsing on the native forest caused by ungulates. No species has become more popular than the Palila, a native finch that calls Mauna Kea's Maumani Forest home. In 1967, Palila was listed as an endangered species, and in 1979, in a lawsuit between the Sierra Club and the Hawaii Department of Land and Natural Resources, Judge Samuel King ruled that sheep and goats harm Palila so as to result in the taking of Palila, and by the Endangered Species Act of 1973 ordered all feral sheep and goats to be removed from Mauna Kea. Since then, the department has been ordered to conduct aerial shooting of sheep and goats from the mountain. Till today, aerial shooting is conducted and sheep populations have been cut way down. Over the years, the native Maumani forest has shown improvement with new growth, even in times of over a decade of drought. In 1979, Palila population was estimated at 1,400 to 1,600 birds. In 2003, the population estimates were over 5,000. But in 2011, the population went back down to around 1,200 birds. Over the 30+ years of aerial eradication, there has been no net appreciable increase in Palila populations. I am not a biologist, but it would clearly be logical to believe that there is more to the Palila survival than just ridding the mountain of sheep and growing the forest. And there is the threat of invasive weeds like fireweed and a continually growing number of other invasive weeds threaten to choke out the native forest. The climate is ever changing, and drought conditions as well as wet conditions can all affect the forest. Reforestation efforts have revealed many difficulties in propagating native plants, potential competition by introduced species, and the ever-encroaching noise of human traffic and all key factors. Disease and predation can immediately and directly influence Palila population. One such efficient predator are feral cats. Alright, gang, my quest for trying to capture a Palila on camera, I noticed that they got efforts like the watering stations. I don't know whether that was for game birds or that was for just all birds in general. I gotta assume it's for all birds. And there's a newer one built way up top too. And I've noticed also that in kind of near the areas they set up cat traps or rodent traps to some degree here, but at all of the sites, these traps, they don't look like they've been moved in a long time or serviced or even put into use. The door's down, bait's all dried out. It's been a while since someone's been here to actually look at the trap or anything like that. Makes you, I don't know, everyone kind of knows Palila and basically any other bird over here is really susceptible to cats and rats. I believe there's even a video of a cat taking out a Palila nest. But, you know, we got the watering stations, but predator control is, looks like it's not happening here. And the other trap up top too was door down, hasn't been used in a while. So, just gotta, you know, as a concerned outdoorsman, and I want to see all the species do well, you would hope. But, you know, maybe funding for these types of things don't continue, or they don't come and check them, or I don't know, whatever the reason, this trap ain't catching nothing. Hunting has been growing in popularity in Hawaii. Hunter education courses are filled well in advance, and in any given weekend you can find families up in the mountains. If used effectively, hunting can manage ungulate numbers in sensitive native forest areas, while at the same time providing an outdoor experience second to none. However, I feel that hunters have not been given the chance to do this. It feels as if our underfunded department does not take hunting seriously, nor has any inclination to use hunting to its full capacity. In turn, folks who don't hunt have turned the spin on hunting in Hawaii as terrible, and all ungulates as death to the ecosystem. Of course, all human existence has some level of impact on the environment. However, implementing conservation principles over preservation can allow people to exist while at the same time staying environmentally sustainable. To me, hunting is more than just putting meat on the table, managing an environment, or keeping to tradition. I really view hunting as a way of life with a rich history. Things like the Pittman-Robertson Act, formed in 1937, which places a tax on sporting goods like firearms and ammunition, raises about $500 million annually for the conservation and protection of both game and non-game species. Hunting is a connection between us and the environment. Hunting forces us to better understand the meaning of life and death, and I personally feel one cannot get this life experience sitting in their multi-story condo in the middle of the city. It is easy to run to the supermarket for meat and fish, and some folks might even think that hunting isn't necessary anymore. I feel this kind of reasoning would be similar to never needing to teach kids how to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, because they can just simply learn how to use a calculator instead. Of course, knowledge would be lost if we only knew how to use calculators, and it would be no different if everyone was forced to eat from the supermarket and never having the opportunity to gather from the land themselves. If we believe humans are products of the environment and experience, then it would not be surprising that as we lose connections to the things we used to do, that the values and behavior of society changes. We need only to look at the differences between city and rural life to see this. Hunting is part of personal development. A father teaching his daughter the discipline and skills required to handle a firearm safely, or fathers spending time in the field with their sons, passing on what they know about the land and how to hunt. It doesn't involve requiring having to sign up for a team sport to have parents directly involved with the development of their child. My dad taught me that there are no referees on the mountain, that it is my responsibility for every choice I make out there. Everything is absolute. I cannot call back that bullet or that arrow. Much like the discipline of the martial arts, this kind of stuff was really powerful to learn as a young boy. Hunting is also a lot of hard work. You really do get out of it what you put in. It's understanding your equipment and perfecting your skills. It's staying physically fit and mentally fit to overcome the challenges of the mountain. It's early mornings and late nights and tons of long hiking in between. And just sometimes, you get lucky.
behind the big tree. Ready?
Oh man, what a beautiful ram. Jeez. Oh man, what a beautiful Mauna Kea ram. It is today. I think it's a boys' day, cameraman said, and what a better way to top off boys' day than with a gift like this. A gift straight, straight from the mountain. He's gonna go on the table and just be amazing meat. The back straps here are gonna go on the grill. The hams and the fronts and maybe the brisket. Some of the neck meat gonna go to chili, curry, and roast. And boy, you can't beat mountain hunting for sheep. I mean, I just grew up doing this and just love it, and it's like challenged me and pushed me to do a lot of things in life that I otherwise didn't think I could do. And that's really what Mauna Kea sheep hunting to me is about. It's so much more than just chasing a sheep. It's so much more than just shooting an animal or taking it home to eat. It's much more than that. It's really life. Like just the challenges, the trials, what you learn, the experience, understanding the nature around us. As you can see, there's a ton of these yellow flowers that didn't used to be here before. Got a bunch of fireweed, and boy, it's just a shame to think that all of these are to be shot by a helicopter for the last 30 years or so, and it's like a lot of. I just hate to think about the other young hunters out there and people that would like to do this kind of thing that'll never get this opportunity. So this is super special to me, and I hope I could at least just hope maybe there's some kind of hunting on this mountain in the future. I mean, just how can you deny such a pretty animal? I mean, it's just amazing. While it may seem that eradications are a drastic measure, similar operations of mass fencing and shooting are continually taking away public land from public use. Fencing and eradication is not conservation and is insensitive to the animals within and the people that respect them. If you're not a hunter, I hope you gathered that hunting is more than just taking home an animal to eat, and that so-called conservation efforts by people who don't hunt or gather might actually look like miles of fence, mass slaughter, and waste of animals. If you are a hunter, I can only hope that you'll find hunting worth saving for future generations here. It is an integral part of our island lifestyle, and we should do all we can to protect it. Represent hunting well, tell your stories, and share hunting with others. You know, I didn't get to put everything I really wanted to in this video, and hunting encompasses so much more than I could put in just a short time frame. But I can only hope that I did hunting well and represented it well here, and hope that you will maybe stick with your fellow hunter and protect what we got, because it's really about to all disappear. So with that, thanks for watching, guys, and see you guys in the mountains. Aloha.
I just get out there on the camera.
Yeah, for real.
Good time when you're watching.
Man down. Let's go. Oh, let's go. Running up.
Train the youth. Get these young ones out there hunting.